All right, Chaz. Welcome back.
Another day.
day.
David Lee, do you have a home in Texas at this point? Are you looking at a property?
I can afford one.
I mean,
That's the good news.
Totally.
I wasn't going to advertise that I was in Texas last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
you're
okay doing it now.
Okay.
But yeah, I wasn't going to just because
You didn't want the fans, or you didn't want people to get mad at that you were entering a COVID hotspot.
HQ, you know,
COVID HQ.
COVID HQ.
You went right to the middle.
I feel like we've already been irresponsible in the eyes of the listener.
You and I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But look at how far apart. We're miles apart now.
You mean the distance that we're sitting from one another?
We are socially distanced properly.
That's true.
But we are touching the same surfaces.
Completely touching the same surfaces.
And now they're even claiming that it goes through the air, that it's not a droplet thing. This whole 6 feet was just a lie.
Okay, explain that.
I don't know.
What's the concern?
I just think that who knows? Who knows about any of it? But they're just claiming or really worried now that it's transmitted via vapor, not via the droplets that are 6 feet apart. We're keeping us safe from.
A while back, I started just employing common sense.
Yep.
Because the science and the data changes every single day.
Silly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep track of. I don't know who to trust.
No.
Common sense has gotten me through a lot of my life.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask outside, I guess.
Okay, here's the number one thing that nobody talks about is be healthy.
Yeah.
Like get some vitamin D, get some exercise, get lots of vitamin C.
Take some vitamin C. Take some zinc while you're at it.
Yeah.
Throw some zinc on in there.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry so much about these things.
Nope.
So, but in regard to Texas, like if listeners who are in the heat of COVID, like living in New York when the first thing hit, and you and I are just talking about not socially distancing, not wearing a mask, not a great look. Then once the second spike hits, I've got a trip to Texas planned to the number one hotspot.
Were you wave pooling again?
No, I wish.
You weren't? You went to Texas on a pleasure trip that didn't involve surfing?
Yeah, and within driving distance of the wave pool too, and I didn't do it.
And you didn't do it?
Did not do it.
Why?
Girlfriend's family 4th of July party.
Girlfriend?
Or get together. Yeah.
Girlfriend's Texan?
No, but her sister moved there, and consequently her mom moved there because the grandkids are there. So 8 members of her family here traveled there, and I tagged along.
To Austin?
Right outside of Austin.
A roadie? Or did you guys fly the great Southwest skies?
We flew the American Airlines skies.
Okay.
I had a house on a lake and all that sort of stuff, which, by the way, for the first time in my life, I rode wave runners.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever done it?
I have.
I have no idea how it's escaped me up until this point. It is so fun.
Did you love it?
Loved.
Could you, if somebody told you, David Lee, no longer are you allowed to live by the ocean, but we're going to give you a lake house and a wave runner, would you be happy enough never to surf again, just to motorcycle around the water?
This conversation did come up on the lake because everybody else there, all the women basically, preferred lake life.
Lake life is disgusting.
I agree.
Lake life is a foul,
That's what I told them.
Disease-producing, rotten life. Lake life is honestly, bodies of fresh water, of kind of stagnant fresh water, i.e. lakes, disgusting.
Completely agree.
Eye diseases. Skin diseases?
Dude, I didn't even want to put my feet in. In my head, I was thinking, if we have to wade into the lake where your feet are touching like the mossy, gross, whatever, I'm not going to do it. Thankfully, we had a dock and it was deep and you could just dive off and it was pretty clean.
Yep.
It's a big lake. But all the women didn't like the beach, mainly because of sand and then secondly because of wind. But waves are all that matter. Like, I don't really ever play in the sand. I get a little sand on my feet on the walk across, so sand isn't really a factor.
And
for
wind,
me.
what kind of beaches are they going to?
Who knows? Probably in the afternoon in Orange County or something.
I mean, but it's never that windy.
I don't know, dude. But if you're hanging out in the sand the whole afternoon, you're getting sand whipped into your face or your food.
How gross is it though? Like a day on a lake, swimming in the fresh water, being all fresh. Don't you just feel like there's something really disgusting about it to me where I need the salt to feel the astringent. Like I love a good saltwater cake after a day of like beach play and surfing and whatever, like a full day at the beach when you come home and you just have a honest to goodness layer of salt on you.
Yep.
That's good. Not having that in the lake, it just feels like you took a 8-hour bath and just feel kind of soggy and gross.
And I need the exercise of the surfing.
Yeah.
Like just lounging in the sun and jumping in the water to cool off, but that's not exercise. I need the activity.
No,
you know?
riding your water motorcycle.
So that's where the water motorcycle comes in. Is
Yeah.
that actually you do get a bit of a workout from that? It's sore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, have you ever ridden a motorbike? Mm-hmm. Yeah, riding motorcycles too. You get a good little workout, a surprising workout,
Totally.
a sneaky workout.
Well, for listeners, I apologize for missing last week.
People thought we got canceled again.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
I mean,
Given everything that we've discussed. What did you do for the 4th?
what did I do for the 4th? I went to the beach. Yeah, it was shockingly uncrowded.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Because the lots were closed.
Lots were closed, and I just went out the front, which is lot adjacent. So yeah, it's like people. I think maybe D Street or Moonlight was packed, but honestly, it was like the most socially distanced beach party. I've never seen 4th of July that way.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
weird times.
It was easy.
Waves are pumping though.
Yeah, but I couldn't surf.
Why not?
I broke my stupid feet, both of them. Both of them. I can't walk, David.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I have to like limp everywhere for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago from this very day.
Do you encounter Ashton or something at the?
No, I was in Newport Beach at the playground up there with young daughter and young daughter's friend, a little play date, a lot of fun. Young daughter's friend got on the monkey bars and was like swinging real low to the ground, but was scared to jump off. It was like a, half a foot drop. I was in a pair of fine espadrilles, like, the espadrilles, like
do.
a rope shoe with no cushioning. I decided it was a good idea to teach her. The only thing she had to fear was fear itself. I climbed to the very tip top of the jungle gym and jumped off into the decomposed granite, like that had all been brushed away, just hard as rock surface. Landed, I had one of those, when you jump off something, typically into water, and you think, oh, you have that one extra arm swing where you're like, oh, that was higher than I thought.
Totally.
I had that, and then, hit, I guess, heel first, and rolled out to show her that, see, there's nothing to worry about. Nobody gets hurt. Rolled out, like kind of wrestled with the kids on the grass for a minute. So I'll go play over there. Sat there for a minute and realized I can't walk. I willed myself to the car after, and then when I got home, literally couldn't walk. I had to crawl upstairs, and then I'm just starting to be able to kind of shuffle, but very poorly.
Brutal. So
Yeah.
what part of your foot broke?
I think I just deeply bruised my heels, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't really break.
Gosh, it's weird how as you get older, you can't do the things that you did when you were young.
I think that would have been dumb, like no matter what age I was. I'm saying that I can't.
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't. I'm blaming it on bad shoes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
blaming it all on bad shoes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I can do.
Do you know what I
everything
mean,
even
though?
better.
Oh,
no,
really?
I'm not going down that
gosh.
road. I think I can do everything now slightly better.
Okay,
than when I
good.
was
Keep
18.
trying. You're going to end up in a sling next time you get here. Because it's funny that you said jumping. I had an instance the other day jumping down like a rock onto a lower rock. And I did it gingerly as an old man.
Yeah,
I looked at it and I'm like, I could probably do it, but it might be slippery when I land on it. So I'm just going to gingerly do it. And I saw a kid do it and he jumped it, no problem. But
Did you go back and then think, oh man, that was, if I could have seen myself doing that, I would have looked like such a little sissy.
Yeah. Well, my thought was, God, I got to lose 20 pounds and I got to like stretch in the morning or something. Like I need to reverse my aging.
Yeah.
But I have that conversation with myself 20 times a day. And then I never do it.
You know what's better is just reverse your mind is what you do. You just go in and say, not only am I as fit and capable, I am more fit and more capable.
Okay.
I have knowledge. I have like more control. I've been in this body longer, more
Okay.
control over its various parts and pieces.
All right.
Got all of it.
All right.
Just don't wear espadrilles. That's
Okay.
the lesson I learned.
Good point.
Men, don't wear espadrilles.
Okay. But we can do barefoot based on previous conversations.
Barefoot at the beach, but yeah, I'm not going to do any barefoot jumping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we first of all should shout out Album Surfboards.
Find a surf shop in all of San Clemente.
And we're filming today's episode.
It's epic. This is a whole technological jump.
It really
today.
is.
A massive step forward.
We filmed an episode probably 2 years ago, and that was a test run, and we had a whole team of people that did that for us.
Whatever happened to that? Did that air?
Yeah. Well, we put it on
live
YouTube.
air?
Put it on YouTube. Yeah. And everybody wanted more. And the issue was workload. It's a lot of work to edit all the video afterwards.
You were slaving here. You were slaving while I was
late. And to
late.
set it up. Exactly. Yeah. But we found a solution. The solution is pretty simple. And we're hoping that we'll be able to do this every single week.
Will you Joe Rogan it and put the whole thing on YouTube? Or will you cut salient bits out and put like the fun clips?
So both those are Joe Rogan. So he does the full YouTube, the full length, and then cuts out little 3 to 8 minute clips that are like the most sensational with a clickbaity headline and puts those out.
How are you going to have the time to do that?
So I think my thought is I'm going to probably have to do 6.
Okay.
If I could do 6 successfully and we disseminate them and promote them enough, sponsors will step up first, and then somebody will step up to do the actual work that we could pay to do.
Okay, sweet.
But I got to do the 6.
So what you are doing in this crumbling COVID economy is job creation.
Absolutely.
You are doing the work to provide enough of a platform to be able to hire somebody.
That's the goal.
Fantastic.
And not only job creation, but stimulating albums business.
Completely.
Those partners, those sponsors that partner with us, they're going to benefit from it too. Look at these beautiful surfboards around us. Are you kidding me?
Like is albums open, right? It's an essential business. So you should come and fondle the rails, people.
Yep.
And look at the palette of colors.
Beautiful palette. The board directly behind you is a custom for Asher Pacey.
I was thinking about stealing it. That's the same exact board that I took to Mexico last.
The Twinsman.
The Twinsman is what I've been on.
Sweet. How's it going?
It's great. I mean, when I could surf, when I could walk.
That's right. So the Twinsman, there was a clip of Josh Kerr on Instagram yesterday at Lowers, just
ripping it.
I mean, fully ripping it, like high performance ripping. There was one turn in particular, and a listener DM'd me, and he's like, dude, why would you ride anything other than a twin fin after seeing this? Like, you can do everything on the twin.
I'll tell you why. Going backside on a twin is lame-o. Do you like going backside on a twin?
It's weird. I've never really thought about it, but you're right. As you're saying it, the few boards that I do ride twin, I don't like going backside on.
There's nothing you can do on it. You just like kind of point and hold on.
Right. You can kind of like cruise, but you're not going to go vert. And you're not going to like redirect or anything like that. Okay. Well, Album, thanks for hosting us. Fantastic. And everybody who's listening right now in their podcast, go check it on YouTube. Check this video on YouTube and look at these boards.
It's this one right here. The one for those only listening. The one to my right is Album's foamy, which is unlike any foamy I've seen on the market, to be honest.
Well, when you break your feet and you're just getting back into surfing, that's what you need.
I'm gonna go see if I can borrow one of these foamies to do that when we're done here.
There you go.
Fantastic idea. Also, though, I feel that you're timing this going to video perfectly because Joe Rogan is vacating that space. And so we can slide right on in and get all of his viewers.
Clearly.
Pretty easy.
We're next up in line. I mean, clearly. We've done the hard yards.
Yep.
Who made your billboard?
Oh, I wish it was real. How good is it? It was just, it was Arn Anderson, the commenter. Arn Anderson, a classic Beach Grit commenter. And I saw it and chuckled so heartily that I just had to throw it on Instagram. Very funny. Very funny. Do
you want to explain it?
It was I guess I should just go into the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So Beach Grit contributor, she wrote a few articles for us and was a regular character, or regularly came in and out of kind of the comment section. Mara Wolford died in Bali, apparently last week. Not apparently, last week. I think July 1st is when her body was discovered. I've been working on another book, and so haven't been paying attention as much to surf news as I typically do. So found out like 3 days ago or something about it, and thought, well, asked Derek, why hasn't anybody done anything yet? And he said Nick was going to. It's like, well, I mean, come on, people. Like, this is a story, and I get it. I get that death is kind of an ugly thing to look at, and we try not to, and all this. But man, I mean, it's always been my thing, or at least with Beach Grit, is real talk maybe, and especially my kind of real talk, may be ugly, but it's better than no talk.
Right.
So I did something, a piece, sort of quick and whatever, and then just got fairly lambasted for it, for the lack of sensitivity, I think, in the tone, even though I'm totally standing behind it still. But then I feel that I spurned Nick Carroll to write the piece that Mara deserved, right? He wrote a beautifully fitting piece. And then, but in my, I guess, then commentary on why I did it the way I did, I thought, it's just, do unto others. It's the golden rule. And when I go down, I sure as hell hope there's not deafening silence. I hope that everybody writes poorly conceived, ill-timed, snarky stuff.
Tone deaf.
Yeah, tone deaf, snarky little articles. And then that was Arn Anderson's, his obit to me was a billboard of me getting socked by Ashton with the comment, "You don't need to know grammar to be a surf journalist."
Right.
Beautiful.
The punch photo never gets old.
So, I mean, you must be so proud of it when you see it.
I am, but I don't feel like everybody knows, like not enough people. I haven't gotten proper credit for the video.
Do you? Yeah. I mean, let's give you proper credit right now.
Thank you. Let's.
So here we go. David Lee and I, everybody knows the story, I think, by now, but David Lee and I at the Surf Expo in Florida. Ashton, I knew Ashton was there. Ashton had been really purposefully staying far away. I think he knew where I was and was staying away. Then Ashton, I think, thought, okay, I'm going to get close, because he had like a gaggle of people, I think, around him. I think he thought that was his moment to go in. I saw Ashton, or you probably pointed Ashton out to me, right? Did you say there was Ashton?
I don't remember that detail.
So I probably
something like that.
Either I was made aware that Ashton was standing there.
Right.
Went up to Ashton, stroked his beard, got socked in the face. My vintage Ray-Bans socked right off my face. David Lee, though, wasn't a looky-loo, wasn't a gawker, wasn't a like, oh no, this is going to be uncomfortable, I better leave. David Lee took out his phone and began filming right away. In frame, holding focus,
got the angle. Got the pre-fight, like got the walk up to one another, got you kind of making him feel uncomfortable with a confrontation, and him trying to avoid you, and you being like, no, it's okay. And then him not taking the bait. So then you touched his face, which was enough bait for him to open hand palm slap. But the real reason why I knew to do that was he had confronted me 5 or 10 minutes earlier on the showroom floor, to express his beef that he felt, for what had happened the year prior, which was, by the way, almost to the day.
That's pretty epic.
Which is, epic. So
do you think we could get Ash back on?
No, I don't. Unless he lost, I would say if he lost his job, like I feel like he needs to protect his job at this point.
You think he still has a job?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I mean,
because the Red Bull 21 days, or not 21 days, what was that series?
The pre-heat. What's it called?
Days off. No contest.
No contest.
That's not happening. And as editor-in-chief of Stab, I would presume that he does. I haven't heard otherwise. But him having confronted me 5 or 10 minutes earlier, and I was able to like squash it, or I was able to quash it.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate that it's called quash.
Yeah.
I always want to say squash.
You can squash it too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You can squish it.
Yep. I was able to do those things and walk away on good terms, or what I thought was good terms at the time. And then when I was walking away, he goes, "Hey, by the way, if I see Chaz, fuck that guy. It's on if I see Chaz." And I was like, all right. I go, you know what, to be honest, Ashton, he's going to write 30 articles about that. Like you think that you're getting somewhere by like hitting him or confronting him, but that only plays into Beach Grit and his like fodder mentality. And you're not going to be able to fight back. Like once it goes viral online, you're not going to have a voice because you have an employer that you're, responsible to. But he's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I was like, all right. And so then when the confrontation started happening, I knew I was just like, oh, it's on. I got to film this thing. I was pushing people. Paisel was hanging with me right there, and I pushed him out of the way. I'm like, get out of the way. So at the beginning of the video, you could see him like looking back at the camera. It's classic. Anyways, the billboard was amazing. What I want to know is how did Arn Anderson know that you were going to die in 2022?
Well, I don't know. He commented then later privately to me via the DM and said, I don't know why. He said the exact same thing. He said, I don't know why I only gave you till 2022. Yeah, it was, since it was my obituary billboard, it was, yeah.
What if he's right though?
Yeah, it could be.
Then he's going to be suspect number one.
It could be. It could fully be right.
Yeah, it very well could be. What if it's COVID that
takes me out at the end?
That would be so ironic.
It would also serve me right. I don't feel though, it's funny, looking back, I look back from time to time, especially Wiggly's paddling style in the comments said, it's time to learn to admit, or not it's time, just said learn to admit when you're wrong to me about the Mara Wolford thing, which I was not wrong, so I did not admit it there. But then looking back, I was trying to think just times where I maybe have been wrong, which is a ton of times, like all the time. But the COVIDs, I don't think a healthy amount of skepticism has not been wrong. I don't think. As we go along, I continue to more or less, social distance. I wear my mask when I go into the store. I, don't go to, unlike you, I don't go to gross, toxic lake houses with bunches of people.
With 8 people and then partying with other people who are from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're going to get the coves?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not. So you're right though. It's not even fair to say we're right or we're wrong for saying this or that, because it's unique to where you live and what's happening in your county and state or whatever. So what applies in New York doesn't apply in Texas. Also, it's different in California. So if you're healthy, it's very different than if you're elderly. So we can't have you and I sit here and it's fun to make blanket statements and generalizations because you want to make the show fun. But people with a lot of who have been affected by it directly, of course, would take offense to hearing stuff like that.
Completely.
So it's understandable.
But I still think that in general,
I agree. Skepticism,
as with anything, a healthy amount of skepticism as you go about, not taking, especially, in this day and age of all news being entirely polarized, I don't know of a good news source that is, and I would love listener feedback on any good news source that's not entirely polarized. That's good broad kind of news. I like my indie zero hedges and whatnot, but I'm sure people would think that's wildly politicized, but I'm not taking my political points from them, but from NPR on one hand, CNN, MSNBC, on and on, Fox on the other, blah, 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 blah. There's no place to get, it's either, so healthy skepticism.
I agree. It's a wide open niche in the market.
I was thinking that too.
It's a business.
And I was thinking also, everybody is so fear stoking. Clearly fear, as I know from Beach Grit, sharks work, right? Fear gets clicks. And everybody, I was listening to the dang news. It's the only time I listen to the news anymore, really, on the way up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've gone straight 91X all the time. So good. Just reliving the classics. Yeah, just they moved from one fear to the next of the first segment was fear of COVID. Second segment was fear of climate catastrophe, that we're reaching our, 1.5 degrees Celsius over the thing that they set, which means, the world's going to absolutely collapse. To tear. So what was it? It was they jumped from 3 tears without a break. It's just, you're all going to die of COVID. Wait. Those who don't die of COVID are going to totally die by, climate extinction.
Right.
And then there was one more after that. I was like, oh, just kidding. If those don't get you, not kidding on those. Those are both going to kill you. But then there's this third one coming up.
So they're delivering news, but it's all couched in why you should be afraid of the news that we're delivering.
Paranoia and fear, and we don't know, and it's scary, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, a lot has happened since I last saw you. Kelly's having a statue being erected in the Garden of American Heroes.
I wrote my letter. I don't know how many other people wrote Florida's Governor DeSantis or whatever his name is.
We'll get him. Get him to sign on.
Yeah.
Kanye's running for president.
Voting, the birthday party.
Yep.
He's my candidate.
Is he?
For sure.
Smart. That's a good bet.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Yeah.
Chloe Andino.
Young man.
The most popular story. So this is related to 4th of July in America and this great land of ours. Chloe Andino. The most popular story on Beach Grit this week, maybe in in weeks,
Yeah.
maybe in a month or two.
Could be.
Derek reported on Chloe Andino's patriotism. Chloe on Instagram posted and wrote, quote, "Happy birthday to the USA. Feel truly honored, blessed, and grateful to be from this glorious land. I will never apologize for being American and fly those colors proud. In my mind, every day is 4th of July."
A patriotic boy.
I'm going to start by asking you, A, why this is newsworthy. And not only is it newsworthy, why is it the most popular article?
Because it's all crazy. Everybody's gone Looney Tunes. Like,
I mean, I thought this isn't even news, but it is. It's the most important news of the week.
Chloe saying that I'm proud of my country and waving my flag or whatever. Like, because everything at this point, even... I mean, moving back from Chloe for a minute, did you read the letter in Harper's that who I think J.K. Rowling signed it, and a bunch of people who were like, it was like 3 paragraphs or whatever. Did you read it?
I know. I heard people reporting on it and talking about it, but I didn't read the thing.
Okay, so the letter is basically a bunch of academics and authors and stuff signed on, where came out with your requisite Trump bashing at the start, right? Like, Trump is evil, Republicans are dumb, evil, dumb, standard fare. Into the next paragraph was, we should just maybe, be a little careful that we don't turn into them, that we don't turn into an echo chamber. And so, like this cancel culture thing, let's just be careful, so tenderly, after all the requisite Trump bashing, into the most tender, like maybe a little free speech is okay.
Right.
Back to, I think, and to hell with all Republicans and die Donald Trump stuff, right? I mean, so tame. And those people are just getting fried for that thing. Fried for saying that maybe we should have a little free speech and not kill each other.
So cancel culture is mad at them for saying, for playing the
free speech thing. That is basically
Really?
like, you bastards. Yeah.
Amazing.
Isn't it crazy?
Who wrote the article?
It wasn't. It was an open letter.
Got it.
It was like an open letter by academics and whatever, who were just like, kind of, let's maybe try to pump the brakes a little bit. It was so, but in exactly the same way as Chloe saying, I'm American, I'm proud of my country, which is, who cares, right? It is complete non-news.
Benign.
Like, if you're patriotic, you're patriotic, right? Like, if you love your country, I mean, Brazilians are patriotic, some are, or
It's completely benign.
it's entirely, but just saying it, somehow the subtext automatically becomes, Kalohe is a Trump supporter, Kalohe is an all lives / blue lives matter folk. He is like, where these subtexts get automatically stuck on, and then like Kalohe almost got himself canceled by saying, I'm a patriotic American.
So it seemed, before we get into Beach Grit's comment section, just in Chloe's comments on Instagram, it seemed like it was positive support of his.
I mean, but those are going to be Kalohe's fans at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, and I'm sure that I didn't go into Kalohe's comments, but I'm sure there were some haters in there.
I'm sure there were too. Whatever popped up in my visuals, it feeds you kind of who you follow and that sort of thing. It was all positive stuff.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is also funny to me.
That you get to see who you follow?
No, not that. I mean, yes, but that you feel a need to chime in. Yes, I agree with you on this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm American and I saw Chloe write that. Never once did my thumbs activate to go, yay for America. Who cares?
Yeah.
Good for you. I don't care. No big deal. If I disagreed with him, I'd probably feel more activated by it than wanting to support.
I mean, you could have at least put 3 American flag emojis, though.
I could have. That's true.
Nice.
I could have.
I think you still can. I would go on and do that.
Okay. So then what, tell me about how Evan Geiselman relates to this.
Well, I mean, and then Evan Geiselman, that Twitter account is getting so funny, I think.
So I've seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't spent time on Twitter in years.
Me either.
But I remember him.
I remember him from years ago, and I remember him being funny back then. Whatever he's doing now, again, I'm not super tapped in, but I think he's just riffing on cancel culture, right? Mm-hmm. So Geiselman, he put out, or somebody said cancel Geiselman. He put out a thing of like Geiselman basically liking Trump tweets.
Right.
Simple as that. Eric Geiselman likes... Evan Geiselman likes Trump tweets and then is under threat of cancellation for liking a Trump tweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
It really is amazing. I mean, so as I was analyzing all of that, can they even be canceled? like in mainstream culture, there are these mobs.
Yeah.
I don't see any mobs in surfing.
They wouldn't be canceled by the surf mob. They would be canceled by if people really, I think Evan less than Kalohe, because I think people could really, the mob could go after Red Bull and say, hey, you have a racist, bigot, right, surfing for you. And the mob could put enough pressure on Red Bull, theoretically, where Kalohe could lose sponsorships or whatever.
It's a theoretical that is true, but the mob doesn't care about Kalohe. Even they certainly don't care about Evan Geiselman. Kalohe, I don't think they even care about.
Yeah, but I think it's tricky with the mob because you never know. The mob could always turn, and then
he's not on their radar.
He's not, but sure. But imagine getting canceled for saying, I feel really proud about my country.
Dude, that's where we're at.
It's every day is the 4th of July.
I know. That's where we're at as a society, though.
Yeah. Canceled. Sorry, Chloe.
It's the burning witches at the stank thing.
It is. I mean, it's funny. It is just the Salem witch trials. And I don't understand how people, do they look back, the cancel culture people and the mob, does it look at the Salem witch trials and think, yes, effective. Look at how effectively they wiped out witches and witchery and witchcraft in Salem.
Dude, they don't.
There was no jury. They did it fast. They did it quick. Witches gone.
The mob sees themselves as
righteous
on the right. Yeah, as righteous. And they definitely don't identify with the ones lighting those fires.
With previous mobs? You don't think so? You don't think they look at the witch problems in Salem right now? There's none. Salem is happy. The children run around and play. There's no witches there because we effectively took care of it.
That is amazing.
I mean, they must think something. How do they separate themselves from other mobs?
I don't know. They're the one unique mob.
They're the mob. This is the mob that the world has been waiting for.
Exactly, yeah.
All the other
We're
mobs.
On the right side. We're on the good side.
Yeah. All the other mobs are doing dumb stuff.
Mob almost implicitly has like a negative context or connotation. And so I think they don't identify as the mob because they're on the side of good.
Well, the funny thing is, here we go. Want me to throw you one other little interesting tidbit about this whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, so both sides are really entrenched, right?
Yes.
Like you have the super cancel culture, like snowflakey, mob left, let's say, right? It's rude to call it the left because it's not just the left, but it's a part of the left, I think. This hypersensitive, if you don't put every letter in the alphabet after LGBTQ and then all the other letters, and if you're not like actively, pushing, we're going to get canceled again for this right here. If you're not like actively behind giving sex change, that's what I think J.K. Rowling got busted for. How crazy is that? I think what she got busted for was saying it's not healthy to give sex change drugs to children, to prepubescent children. And that was enough for people to be burning Harry Potters in the street.
Right.
Anyhow, so if you're not on that side, then you're on the other side, which is, I think, or not that you're either or. So there's this happening. Then there's over here, I think the right feels religious right, let's just say, feels under attack too. Right. So both sides feel under attack, I think. Both sides sees the other one as the aggressor and as the one who has all the power, right? I think the religious right, the standard, traditional Americans, the Kalohe Andinos, feel like they are under siege. Cancel culture people feel they are also under siege. Mm-hmm. They think we have to protect stuff because we're getting annihilated out here.
Right.
So you have two siege mentalities happening, I think, which is my personal opinion, which is why things are so absolutely bizarre, because both people are scorched earth to protect, even though neither really have to. Like both could be sensible.
Well, so I think
not the Kalohe is doing the scorched earth.
Those two groups have so much more in common than they don't. Like I was listening to the guys in the astronauts being interviewed who are up in space right now. They got launched by SpaceX up there.
Are they up there?
Yeah, they're still up there.
Like cruising? A month?
They've been up there a month, I think. 3 weeks or something.
Do you have any interest in going to space?
No.
Yeah.
Not really. But one of the things they were saying was it's bizarre to be up here getting news occasionally about the protests that are happening or the whatever's happening politically in the government. Because from here, you guys are a little you don't realize how insignificant you are.
Yeah.
Like there is this galaxy, there are galaxies. You are this tiny marble, and on that marble, just a speck of nothingness. And you're infighting?
Yeah.
That's insane to us up here. Like it's so crystal clear for us up here.
Maybe we all need to go to space.
I mean,
maybe that's
it would
Elon
alter
Musk,
your perspective quicker than anything.
Maybe Elon Musk does that for us all. He gives humanity one giant bus to space where we can all look down at the little marble for a minute.
Yeah.
And then sing.
Well, so I had that epiphany. I had that thought when, and this relates to your article, the Chloe article anyways, because there was Damien Farrenfort was wrapped up in that too.
Duma was going to get canceled too.
Right.
But Duma was going to get canceled for something he did 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
which is, that's how cancel culture works.
Totally.
There's no time in cancel culture.
So, but Duma, he has a podcast now, and a couple of weeks ago, like right in the height of Black Lives Matter, he posted an episode with like a pretty incendiary Instagram caption calling out surf brands, basically.
For what?
For not having enough black or people of color representing people of color effectively or accurately enough, like in terms of not only the athletes and the pay wages, but also, in the corporate infrastructure. Sure. But I was like, in that moment when I read that, when I first saw it scroll up on Instagram, I took umbrage with Duma and his stance, and it was like fiery, like a fiery caption. And I was thinking to myself, dude, now's not the time for infighting. Like, and I mean, within the surf world.
Sure.
Did you feel this way a month ago?
Yeah.
Because if you did, I never heard you talking about it. And are you going to feel this way a month from now? I feel like you're just taking this moment to take some of the spotlight onto yourself and promote the podcast and all that sort of stuff. But now's not the time. Like you know these people at these brands. You can have those conversations personally and try to make change, but doing it publicly on Instagram is only going to break down further the already, struggling surf industry.
I mean, and
I don't feel a need to protect the surf industry necessarily, but I did feel like it was just kind of like, oh, dude.
Well, I mean, if this is what you've had like long-term belief in and stuff, I mean, Duma's been part of, like you said, Duma's been part of the industry forever. And same with the WSL. All of a sudden, after the whole George Floyd protest stuff, then it's just, we stand with ... and solidarity and blah, 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 blah. What changed? Like, the United States of America had deep systemic problems before George Floyd. Like WSL, did you just get woke? I mean, is it as simple as that? And so same with Duma, like using these kinds of things for ulterior motives, which is essentially what it is, right? It's to look, it's a PR play.
Yeah. Which almost every brand that I have supported and bought things from did exactly that.
Sure. But
for the detail with the Duma thing was not only I'm going to virtue signal, but I'm going to throw mud over here through my virtue signaling. Yeah. And that's where I felt like, dude,
come on.
And I guess you could throw mud at the enemy, and that almost feels okay, because there are legitimate enemies in this, but this is your brethren, purportedly. And I think he specifically named like the big brands that are all owned by venture capital at this point and are all publicly traded and stuff. So maybe they're not brethren anymore, but still, it's more to the detail that we were talking about previously, where both sides are so polarized that's actually going to hurt both sides. I mean, we need, as a country, like we need solidarity, and further dividing sides is only going to allow Russia, China to gain further traction.
Well, who in the world is going to be looking at Duma's post and thinking, oh, he's really right, and then go out and make change, right? Like which brand, like team manager, their failing brand with their just cratering budgets is going to say, Duma Farrenfort's got a point. I never thought about it that way before.
Right.
I'm going to go out and do something about it.
Right. Probably nobody.
0 people.
I mean, 0, but also that's maybe why those are safe targets to take umbrage with, is because there is nobody there that
I mean,
represents
any
surfing
kind of
anymore.
fiery, I'm all for a fiery screed. That's my bread and butter. But like, never after soft targets.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's silly. All you're silly. Fair and forth.
Softest target of all, Snapple.
Oh my goodness, how good was that? Kelly, he's such a wacko.
Dude,
he's a straight up wacko.
What was the wackiest part about this for you?
I mean, there was so much wacky. I don't know how much sugar Perps has in it. But
I don't think Perps is in business anymore.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Well, they were at one point, and I guarantee maybe not added whatever specific sugar he was taking umbrage with in Snapple. So Kelly decided yesterday or whatever was the time to. He bought a Snapple apparently, looked at the added sugars, screenshotted the screenshotted. Screenshot.
Yeah.
Screenshot the label, the nutrition label.
Yeah.
Post it on Instagram with the "You're killing people" Snapple. You're killing people with the amount of sugar you're putting
It's
in
a
your
direct
thing.
quote. You're killing people.
You're killing people.
Yeah.
Of all the things that are happening right now, COVID, unrest, war, famine.
Yeah.
Snapple's sugar amount. So the surprising things for me in order of the way I thought about them, one was Perps. I guarantee Perps is so loaded with sugar, like maybe not added sugar, but fruit sugar, fructose. I mean, Perps is pure sugar. An energy drink is sugar. Essentially, that's what's giving you energy. So Kelly, one, hypocrisy, this is always the tip, is you make a sugar drink. Second is whoever thought Snapple was healthy. It was never branded as healthy. It was never sold as healthy. Snapple's most notable spokesman is Rush Limbaugh. Remember when Rush Limbaugh he was it. So Rush Limbaugh basically made Snapple famous. That's where Snapple came from. That's who Snapple's for, right? If you want a Snapple, go get a Snapple. Nobody ever once thought Snapple was a health beverage. Number three, why the hell do you care? Number four, if you bought your damn Snapple and then got confused about the ingredients, I mean, just Kelly's spun out. Kelly is, but in such a sort of playfully senile uncle kind of way.
Yeah. I don't even know how many grams of sugar is too much. You know what I mean? Like I don't count calories. So I guess 40 grams of sugar, I guess maybe that would register in my brain as being too much.
But you've never once gone in to buy a Snapple and thought I'm getting a health drink.
That is my point that I was going to make is that I don't have any context for what's too much or too little. Kelly is way more health conscious than I am, 100%. But I've never, in the last 10 years of my life, gone in to get a beverage and thought that Snapple would be a good decision.
Was a healthy alternative?
Never.
I mean, I've had Snapple like everybody has, right? I mean,
I've encountered a Snapple, I guess, and I had a sip of it, but I haven't drunk.
I think at one point in my middle teens, I enjoyed Snapple.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, within the last 10 years.
But I never thought I'm making a smart health decision.
No.
I'd like Snapple.
So the fact that he is that much more health savvy and that was the thing that he picked was funny. The funniest thing to me, though, was that he posted it. Like, I have so many banal things in my day that never dawned on me to post.
I mean, imagine if you posted like Kelly. If every stray thought you had, you posted to your 3 million followers. Like, I mean, I wonder if we would all be as dumb as Kelly.
I think he's smart. That's the weird thing about it. That's the most paradoxical thing about Kelly is that I think he's hyper intelligent.
I don't know that he is. I'm gonna disagree.
Well, maybe not hyper. Okay.
I'm going to say Kelly is pretty bone stupid.
Really?
I'm going to say Kelly Slater has been surfing his whole life. He got interested in stuff. I'll say Kelly is a curious person.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so he's an autodidact at some level, right? And so he gets curious about stuff. Then he feels that he learns about those things. But I think in a real scattershot way. And so he thinks he's smart. But I think Kelly's breadth of knowledge is pretty wide. The way Kelly ties them and like deep source beyond that is a centimeter shallow.
Well, we've talked about this before where if you're only ever surrounded by yes people and like what his level of talent, looks, wealth, all that, are going to make it really difficult to have any truly accountable partners, or people that hold you accountable. And so, yeah, I think you're right. He has a modicum of intelligence, or curiosity.
He has a lot of curiosity.
A lot of curiosity. So he will investigate these things and come up with a little bit of information, but because nobody's ever said no or ever said, you should go deeper, then he professes that to be ultimate truth.
Totally. And he acts like an absolute truth. He acts like an expert on subjects that he has full on layman's understanding of the thing. And then also I think what gives him a little extra spike to Kelly's thing is that because of who he is, he gets to rub shoulders with experts in fields, right? Like he hangs out with whatever that astronaut lady who came back from the space station was. Like he gets to hang out with these people or interact with them. And so by proximity, I think he also feels like I'm an expert, or he certainly acts like an expert. Like when he puts out his regular opinions, it's never like questioning, really. It is more or less, Kelly holding forth.
So it's fun to be able to analyze Kelly, right?
So fun.
But
it gets funner and funner every day.
The other reality about this is he's right. Like Snapple is killing people. Like the vast majority of American or people buying Snapple think that is a healthy option. They think iced tea is a better option than Coca-Cola.
Here's the thing though, is I bet they don't. I don't think people in the South where sweet tea is a way of life think that sweet tea is healthy. Sweet tea is just like pure sugar.
Right.
That's all it is. They all know it.
Yeah, but this isn't sweet tea. I mean, this
essentially
technically is sweet tea, but they're not interpreting it as sweet tea. I think there's a lot of Americans who go in the South aside, let's say Californians.
But I mean, this is the other funny thing about Kelly. When was the last time you saw somebody drinking a Snapple? It's not like Snapple just released some new thing and it's now popular. Like if he would have done this about White Claw or something, right? About
some new trend that people are unaware is killing them.
The trendy, or at least riffing on the trendy drink.
Right.
To riff on some beverage that, has been around for a long time, but it's not doing anything new. Yeah. And how many grams, give a comparison. How many grams of sugar does a Coke have?
I really don't know.
I mean,
I think it's probably similar though.
It's got to be similar.
Yeah.
But
they taste equally sweet.
But I also think though that the same person drinking a Coke or deciding between a Coke and a Snapple isn't making a health choice.
Exactly.
Isn't going and thinking, I want to be healthier today.
Yeah.
What do you think Snapple feels, or whoever owns Snapple? Are they
about Kelly's post?
I heard something. I got a funny text. I got a follow up to Kelly's post. Yeah, there was something funny about the Snapple family. But,
okay.
I have to write that today. I got to fish it out. But yeah, they because
they don't care.
It would definitely come across their thing though, across their radar. Like Kelly's a big enough fish where it would, they would hear that Kelly Slater asked you why you're killing people.
So back to Kelly is right. I think he might do some good with this post. I think there's a sub-segment of population that follows him that drinks Snapple with somewhat regularity. Maybe it's a woman working in accounting in an office building in Irvine who thought that Kelly Slater was hot enough to follow on Instagram. And she saw that and goes, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this had as much sugar. Okay. And so today for lunch, I'm going to have water instead.
I'll give it to you.
It's not.
Today for lunch, I'm going to have Diet Coke instead.
Yeah, right. Because it's diet. Or she'll grab the Diet Snapple instead.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it warrants a post for Kelly, but hey, if you could change one life.
Wow. Okay. Back around. Barrel for Kelly Slater publicly shaming Snapple. Saving lives. What he does.
You're killing people. Snapple.
Killing people.
Dying in throngs.
It's amazing.
Well, they're making millions of gallons of that stuff. So in theory, he's not wrong.
Kelly, he's right. Snapple's killing people. I've come all the way back around.
Guy's genius, dude. You want to hear something hilarious?
Yes.
This is in relation to surf coaching.
Okay.
I'll get to the joke in a second, but I'll deliver some facts first.
Okay.
Jake Patterson, he's out of the game.
Hanged up the whistle.
Snake.
Hung up the whistle.
He said the fun's done.
Really?
It's time to hang up the old passport. I've decided, with the help of COVID, to take a full-time job with We Are Feel Good Inc. sunscreen. It has been super rewarding coaching kids to reach their goals and achieve their dreams. I got to coach 5 guys from the QS onto the CT. I also got to hang with Steph Gilmore for one of her 7 world titles. Created Snaketails clips, which I hope that you all liked. Thanks to Belly, got me started. Plain and simple, I love coaching, and I'm going to miss it big time. He's out of the game. Guess who's replacing him?
Shane Beshan.
Seabass Zeitz.
Seabass Zeitz is a coach now.
And check out...
Seabass, the funniest surfer. The surfer with the most personality.
Here's where the comedy comes in.
Hit me.
And I don't think that this was ironic.
Okay.
I think this was legit. Here's his techniques that he's going to coach on. This is part of his programming. Heat strategy.
Great. He's good at it.
Priority tactics.
Amazing.
Scoring potential. And the funniest of all, wave selection. These are the 4 keys to why Seabass is no longer on tour.
That is really true. But
If he said, okay, technique, airs, getting barreled, I'd be like, all right, man, the guy's got a lot to say about that. Are you going to take heat strategy or wave selection from Seabass?
you bring up a great point, though. Okay. Work with me here.
Okay.
A person who's good at something, especially a sport, often it's instinctual, right? Like Gabriel Medina.
Agreed.
Gabriel Medina's not thinking through what he's going to do. Gabriel Medina, with the help of Charlie whistling on the beach, but I'm going to say it's mostly Gabe, right? He's got a head for strategy. He's doing it instinctively. If I sat Gabriel Medina down and said, coach me through a heat, what do I do? I think Gabriel Medina would not know. He would say...
He'd be a terrible coach.
He would say, oh, you just feel it, or you listen, and then you see the good wave, and you take the good wave, right?
Yeah.
It's all natural to him. Seabass, through failure, might be a better coach.
Could be.
Because Seabass could say, tell you what I did. I always would go for this, or this is what I would do in the water. So basically, don't do that. Don't do what I did.
So his tagline as a coach should be, do as I say,
Not as I do.
do.
Precisely. But I'm going to say that Seabass, through failure in those 4 key areas, is going to be a better coach than somebody who succeeds in those 4 areas.
You're going to pick a marriage counselor because they're divorced like 5 times.
Yeah.
That's the strategy.
I feel like I learn more. We all learn more from our failures.
For sure.
Than our wins.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you have a marriage counselor who's married for 50 years
Right.
and is sitting there saying,
That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you the secret to marriage. It's, I guess you just kind of stay married.
You just pick the right person at the
Pick the right
beginning, and then it's
person.
easy.
Yeah, wash the dishes, I guess. You have the 5 divorcee on there saying, tell you what got me divorced from the first one is, I was a rotten human being. I, didn't take the trash out. I was lazy, blah, blah, blah. Second one, I learned from that, so I took the trash out, but I never got her gifts. Third one, figured it out, gifts and taking the trash out, whatever. Like, I'm going to say, I'm taking the 5 divorcee. I'm taking Seabass Zeitz. Seabass Zeitz, Coach of the Year 2021. I'm claiming it here.
You know what validates this exact point? Glenn Micro Hall.
Exactly. Look at,
Glenn Micro Hall
is the best. He has coached more. Like Snake had a bunch.
Glenn has the best record for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Snake had a number of people on the CT or coached them up to the CT. Snake never, and as he says, he was with Stephanie on one of her. Stephanie don't need no help, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she needed a couple different point of view or whatever. Not that Snake's a bad coach, but Micro is the one who makes winners.
Micro took a fledgling Matty Wilco. Wilco was just like constantly falling off at the teetering off tour. And then as soon as he hooked up with Micro, he won 2 contests in a row. That
Wasn't it 3 in a row?
Might have been.
Didn't he win?
He won Snapper.
He won Snapper, he won Bells, and then he either won or got. I mean, he built such a dominant lead that the only way he lost it was by being Wilco.
Exactly.
By being not actually a very good surfer.
Yeah.
So he coached him to excellence.
Yeah, Wilco or Glenn Micro Hall has a unbeatable track record as a coach.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. This is really good insights. I really undersold Sebastian.
I'm going to say Sebastian, though, is going to beat Micro at the coaching game.
Okay.
Who would you want to see Seabass take under his wing? Which surfer on the CT? If you can even remember any surfers' names who are on this one thing called the CT that used to exist. How dumb. Can we just bash the WCL for a minute? Promised announcements. Promised. ELO promises big announcement coming. And they act like they never said it. They're just silent. Like he said in whatever his first one was, big announcement, like when he did their first big announcement in June, I think
June
it was.
1st.
June 1st. Nothing. And then what they actually said, like Long Tom really peppered him on it, peppered WSL for it. And I think they finally got him. No. What they were meaning was there's something in the fine print where it was July 1st. Okay, great. July 1st. July 1st comes, crickets. I hear from a good source, big announcement about they're going to kick off, I wrote about it. They're going to kick off the 2020 tour or not kick off 2020, more or less kick off 2021 this December in Pipe, right? So it's what they've always wanted to do anyway. They'll first event of the season whatever. It'll be 2020 Pipeline December. Will actually roll into the 21 season.
So it'll count towards 2021 points.
Yep. But silence.
So what qualifies as a rumor, first of all?
I mean, this was a solid source, a solid behind the scenes source.
Because I don't think even behind the scenes they have enough information yet to fully greenlight that.
The thing is, I think it was what I've heard has been happening is that they've been rolling stuff out and getting it ready to go, and then it's getting quashed by the surfers. Because they're I think it's just so dysfunctional there that they get their ideas, and then it's both, I think, a combination of poorly managing too many chefs in the kitchen and also having poor ideas to begin with, or a poor recipe, I should say, to begin with. So I think they are building ideas, getting them really far down the line, kind of it leaks out, it gets sort of sold, and then the surfers come back in and say, no, that is awful. And then they say, we're so sorry.
There's way too many surfers. You would never find a consensus among the surfers.
They shouldn't even be asking the surfers.
They shouldn't be asking it at all. But the lead chef in the kitchen,
Eric Elo,
the CEO of the WSL, doesn't have enough his background's all in media. But right? his background isn't in sporting at all.
No.
And so I don't think he has the resume to really make strong leadership decisions for the world tour.
I mean, you'd think at this point that there would be some sort of, other sports leagues, if they're not up and running at this point, there's very clear at least parameters to when they will be up and running and how it will look. WSL, absolute crickets.
But a lot of those aren't international tours, like the NBA is in the United States or whatever. So there's fewer things for them to sort out, which is why I don't think that this is ever going to happen. I don't think that the Hawaii event is going to happen. I'd be shocked, to be honest, if 2021 happens. COVID, again, these spikes, COVID's going to be with us for quite some time.
Sure. But if 2021 doesn't happen, let's assume worst case scenario. 2020 is written off the books. I don't see the WSL surviving.
That's my point. That's why I don't think 2021 is happening either. Is because what happened what was the WSL's revenue model for 2020? It was probably largely dependent on running the world tour, right?
That it still loses money though.
Exactly. But now they have zero revenues.
Yeah.
Maybe not zero, but they have way fewer revenues.
There's nothing.
Right.
Well, where's the money coming in?
Exactly. So what happened? How do you continue to run a business the following year after you lost all your revenues? Did they get the PPP loan from the government?
For sure they did, right?
Okay. So how are you going to pay that back? What's your revenue model going into 2021? Whoever was going to support it for 2020 probably took their chips off the table for 2021 because you have zero direction. You're not providing us any substantial directive. So we're not, and by the way, we've already seized up our budgets.
I'm still throwing one iota of hope that they think that Ultimate Surfer is going to be such a hit that it's going to jumpstart interest in the league again.
If that is your big bet, you walk away from the table.
What else do they have?
You're right, they don't, but that's just, by the way, listener, I don't know, this is certainly non-substantiated, but listener feedback was they're having Zeke Lau as one of the Ultimate Surfers, Keanu Asing, Seth Moniz. Those were the three names that they had.
Seth Moniz would be okay, but Seth Moniz is not super what charismatic in front of the camera.
No, he's quiet. He's well-mannered.
Yeah.
All that.
He's a good boy.
Zeke is the only one that makes sense in that scenario.
But Zeke is a good boy too, isn't he? I think you need people poorly raised. You need people who like want to, screw other people and beat other people up, right? I think Zeke comes from a great family.
You need megalomaniacs.
You
who
totally
want
do.
Camera time, and those guys kind of shy away.
How does Elo not know this though? Elo, you would think if he knew anything a little bit, it would be appealing to housewives like he did. Not that he had to appeal to him. I mean, he had nothing to do with it, right? He had nothing to do. That's the thing.
With Oprah, the success of OWN?
Oh, not just the success of Oprah. I'm sure he had everything to do, or a lot to do, with the success of the network, of putting the right pieces together behind the scenes. Eric wasn't like green lighting shows.
Right. So the problem I think with the WSL that they always run into is it's kind of what you said, the cooks in the kitchen thing. They're always managing a bunch of different interests. So if the only objective for the Ultimate Surfer was, let's make this the most popular show on television.
Yeah.
They would have turned away from all of the CT and QS surfers and just gotten...
Jonah Hill, for pity's sake. I see Jonah Hill surfing all over. Jonah Hill brought his longboard down to Huntington the other day.
No way.
Surf Huntington. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Jonah Hill loves his surf game.
So you would really be looking just for who's going to be the most obnoxious, it's salacious.
It's such a silly standard playbook. I'm sure you go to anybody who produced any one of the Love Islands or whatever they were called, any of those shows, and say, okay, you're the showrunner for this.
Sure.
Cast us.
Exactly.
We'll give you like base level surf skill they need. Otherwise, just cast. There's that Instagram influencer guy who broke up with his girlfriend. I can't remember. I mean, there's probably hundreds of those guys who has billion followers, is like a nasty piece of work, I think.
I have no idea
Real
who you're
handsome.
talking about.
It was one of the early ones. We did funny stuff with him. He had beef with some surfer back in the day. Yeah. But there's all those people, right?
Yeah. So that's exactly, because by the way, this is going on ABC. So we know we're not going to get the best surfers in the world because they wouldn't do it. Like John's not going to do it. Gabriel's not going to do it.
Well, he doesn't. So they don't need it. They're already the ultimate surfer.
So we know that in the WSL, if the WSL got the best quality surfers they could for this, it's still B-level surfers.
That's people who are
so
not
you and I are out.
Yeah.
And we don't want to watch the wave pool. So we're already out. Times 2.
I mean, I'm watching every episode though.
I think I'm out based on this new information. I'm like, dude, do I give any?
I'm treating Ultimate Surfer. Beach Grit will treat Ultimate Surfer like we treat a WSL event. We'll cover each episode from all the angles.
Okay. Is Long Tom going to write it?
Long Tom will write
Good luck.
The rap. I'll do snarky stuff. Gen C will add color. Derek will add a big picture rap. I mean, it's going to be a Beach Grit production, each episode.
All right. We'll see. I mean, if this thing ever even comes to fruition.
I think they're filming right now.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But could it be more boring? I mean, based on the guest list that I just said.
If that's who it is, and if that's the general tenor of who they're getting, then absolutely not.
Right.
Well-mannered, strong family, young men don't make good reality TV.
Also, they're all Hawaiian, which was weird to me.
I mean, there's got to be more though. How many Ultimate Surfers?
Well, for sure there's more,
like
but even still, I thought that was a lot of, like, you want to have diversity in the cast, right? And those guys kind of all represent something similar.
Imagine, like, again, I feel that I've pitched more good ideas to Elo on this show than Elo's ever had in his entire life. But as I was thinking about Jonah Hill, picture if you got, instead of doing the dumbass Ultimate Surfer, if you got Jonah Hill, Will Smith's kid, a bunch of like celebrities, who like to surf, they'd want to go Surf Ranch. You get them up to Surf Ranch. You have Kelly Slater coach them and see which one of them gets to be, after their coaching, time. It's like the Masked Singer or whatever. Which one of these celebrities becomes the ultimate or the best surfer of their group, right? You go from Jonah Hill lumbering up to his knees, then to his feet, being able to actually pop up. That would be a real something that the crowd at home could cheer.
So what's crazy is I would actually be more interested in seeing if Jonah Hill can hobble up to his feet.
Anybody would.
And then if he actually pulled into the barrel and made it, that would be the best Surf Ranch clip that I've seen since Surf Ranch started.
Or if Jonah Hill did a bottom to top turn combination, like
there's no chance he would do that.
With
Kelly's coaching.
With Kelly's coaching, you're there. Jonah likes to surf. You got them engaged.
Even
get Josh Brolin in there. Just think of all the celebrities. Edward Norton. I mean, it would be the greatest.
Those guys would never do it. But
sure they would.
You're right, because they like
go
surfing.
surf.
Yeah, and they want to surf ranch.
And you sell them on surf, like you get 2 weeks of surf ranch with Kelly Slater coaching you. Any celebrity who likes to surf would do that.
Okay. And right now they're not filming anything.
Of course not.
So
it's automatic quarantine.
We solved the problem for them yet again.
I mean, always.
But that's good for one episode for me.
For Jonah Hill?
Everything that you just said, that could be one episode and I'd be okay with that. I don't need a full season.
No, because you do but however they do the Masked Singer, you have these celebrities knock each other out at some level, right? Like you have to be able to do this thing. The worst surfer gets voted off the surf ranch, celebrity has to wave goodbye. So you start pulling for people who you want to see win the thing, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's, some competitive element that makes it human interest competitive thing.
Okay. Well, speaking of coach, I mean, this relates back to our coaching conversation.
Yeah.
Seabass could actually show up.
Seabass would crush Kelly in a coaching game.
Have you ever been coached?
No.
Surfing.
Have you?
No. Until 2 days ago.
You got coached?
A little bit. Inadvertently.
Out in the water?
Yes.
With whom?
So, are you familiar with Surf Mastery podcast?
I'm not.
Okay, there's a podcast called Surf Mastery. Michael Frampton is his name, and
his name is Michael Frampton.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet. Michael Frampton and David Lee.
Is there a famous? There's Peter Frampton.
Yeah, Peter Frampton.
Yeah. So he is a personal trainer and got involved in surf coaching in Australia. He's from New Zealand, but became a professional in Australia, working in that scene. And now he lives in LA and does a lot of surf coaching and does surf podcasts. It's called Surf Mastery. So it's focused on kind of,
technique.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What technique and habits and rituals do these masters apply in their life, and how can you apply those in yours, kind of thing. So anyways, he wanted to interview me for his podcast to talk about podcasting and stuff like that. So we went surfing together, and, he was able, he just gave me a couple of little details. That I was like, oh man, you are totally right. And I'll give one to you right now.
Tell me.
Just focus on the section in front of you. We're surfing this spot that I had not surfed before. It's a little bit of a novelty spot, and there's some rocks and stuff, and the waves weren't great. So you had to kind of watch out for the rocks. And so I would find myself getting up on a wave and sizing up where
you're going to end up.
Where I'm going to end up, right? And then was always out of sync. And it was also a little bit of a weird wave that he even said it's took me a couple of years to kind of figure out where to do a turn and stuff. But I found myself where I had waves that had sections on them, but I would be zigging when I should have been zagging and bobbing when I should have been and whatever. And so I found myself at the end of the wave, not having done a turn multiple times. He's like, dude, just focus on the first section. And if you do the first section right, you'll come out of it with the exact right amount of speed and projection to do the second section right, And then the more we talked about that, and that seems so obvious and so basic, but the more that we talked about it and broke it down to its kind of distilled level, that's all that surfing is. Yeah. That's what you were talking about with Gabriel Medina a few minutes ago, is you're living in the moment. If you're ever thinking about the future or regretting the past, you're missing the now.
Wow, look at you.
This kind of Buddhist enlightenment kind of philosophy of living in the exact moment. That's what all the best surfers are doing. And so he talked about spending time with Tom Carroll in Australia. And Tom, that was the detail that Tom told me. He goes, dude, no, you're blowing it. Most surfers are sitting out here looking for a set wave. Just what's the most water moving at me? Because that's what I'm going to go on. You're overlooking. The set wave's rarely the best wave.
Yeah.
The in-betweener that has the right angle on it, and it has the lip has a certain crumble on it because it's a cross up of this or that. You want to be looking for all of those little details. And so as it relates to once you're up and riding, you're also doing the exact same thing. You're just focused on this. If you're trying to take in the totality of the ocean, you're missing the entire point. You're just taking in this finite detail of the moment. Yeah.
I for so long, for most of my surfing life, thought, or since surf coaching became a thing, thought, what's this hooey? This is all me too. Fake. That's how I felt. You have either ability or you don't. It's all native and natural and whatever. When we had Shane Beshan on the podcast, on Dirty Water a couple weeks ago. Not that I've ever done a proper air, but he said something about like some quick coaching tips on airs, like push versus pull. Like when you hit the wave, you're pushing, but then you pull all in, because once you're in the air, the slightest toe touch will send your board, there's nothing pushing against your board. Where I'd never even thought about that. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Which made me think, what else don't I know? Which made me think, time for me to get a surf coach. Funny that you bring this up.
Well, it's despite Michael sharing that insight with me, I didn't feel any more inclined to get a surf coach.
Well, but
because it's too much effort. Like surfing to me, I just want to go. I want to not really think about it. It's surfing. I don't know. It's like, it's a reprieve from all of the work that I do the rest of my life. And in theory, I want to get better at it. And I think I'd enjoy it more the better I get at it. But I don't know.
What if Devin Howard could be your surf coach, where you have that soothing voice in your ear?
He'd be a pretty good one.
I mean, it's like double soothing.
Yeah.
Your surf session. Not only are you getting better, you're getting more soothed.
He is. He's very articulate, and he always does a great job of explaining what's happening. So if Devin and I were in the water together and he then gave me organic coaching,
yes,
I would take that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go surf with Devin Howard is what I'm going to do.
The moment it feels like homework, I'm packing my bags.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think Devin, it would feel cerebral.
Devin would never make it feel like homework.
It feels soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Awesome. Well, what else do we got in my notes? Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's go to commercial.
Let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We got Barrel or Nah.
Exciting.
Okay. All right, let's do that. Commercial break. Jazz, welcome back to the show.
I don't think, besides lambasting prepubescent children getting sex change hormones, I think we're uncancelable this show. I think we dodged
People can find a reason. People can always find a reason. You know what I was going to ask you? I thought last week you were going to be out of town because you're sending a kid away to college.
Yes.
You were going to do the Ultimate American Road Trip.
Was going to do the Ultimate American Road
American.
Trip. It's going to be so good.
What happened with the college? Is she going to college still?
I mean, who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. She is University of Arizona, so it's a hotspot, a COVID hotspot. Also a red state, and so they'll be more inclined, I think, to get things working than say your wimps at Harvard, etc. I saw the best meme the other day. It was just a kind of old black laptop, like generic laptop, and just kind of semi-open and just had Harvard off to the side, which is that's literally what Harvard is now. Harvard's like, we realize once all the pomp and circumstance is gone and you're online learning, what makes Harvard better than anywhere? Like anybody could hack those classes, or people should just screen record and start putting it on the internet. Everybody could be a Harvard graduate. Well,
all that matter, it comes down to alumni. So who you're going to benefit from when you get out of school, and of course professors. But the better quality professors, of course, is a huge thing. But the professors are nullified by the current technology. Yeah. The technology just has to get way better.
I mean, how?
I don't know.
But yeah,
VR, like, you know.
I mean, I'm really hoping. I'm hoping for kids' sake that it opens soon.
Okay, well, so I wanted to ask you this because I'm going a direction with this questioning, this line of questioning, which is, it's going to be really hard to justify spending $50,000 a year to send your kid to a school where she's basically online learning, or send her to the actual campus that becomes a Wuhan, hotspot is going to be Wuhan in a classroom. Truly, because do you think kids, first of all, whenever you see videos of kids partying in Florida for spring break this year, it is kids. It's college-aged kids who are all drinking off the same glass, sharing a joint, hitting the same bong. So kids are the ones who are probably going to be the least
spreaders,
the most super spreaders, right? And then, so my point of questioning that I was getting at is, what advice are you going to give to your kids at this point? It was easy for our parents to just check out by the time you turn 18 and go, hey, go to college and that'll do enough training for me and for you. And then when you get out, you'll have an employer that you can work for and they'll take care of you for 30 or 40 years. Then you'll have a pension. You can go into retirement.
Sure.
At this point, what do you tell your kids?
I mean, it's
what
rough.
Advice do you give them?
I mean,
where do they invest their time, resource, talent?
for college daughter, it's rough. I mean, it's even harder for her. She has a full ride soccer scholarship.
Oh,
She is
man.
a soccer star. So she was supposed to be early, right? So she was supposed to be there, Great American Road Trip. She was supposed to be there last week to start training and all that. So she's not only missing out on the school experience and that fun and the learning, which is important. Also, though, the training and the, what it is to be. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be a Division I full ride scholarship athlete. So for her, the advice is purely hang on mentally.
Gap year.
Yeah. Just like, don't get depressed. This'll, the world is changing and shifting under your feet, but the world is always kind of changing and shifting. This is just a bigger change and shift. And, the people who come out always of these kinds of things, I think, are the people who are fluid, are people who don't get bogged down or depressed, don't kind of latch on to some old way of thinking and then just can't move forward. Sure. People who the shift and change is scary enough where they fall into, drugs or alcohol to kind of numb the sensation of the shift, whatever. So, I mean, my only advice for her is keep your head in the game, keep having fun, kind of find joy, because that's the only staying fluid and enjoying things, to me, is the only way you're going to move through. You can't make University of Arizona reopen. Keep training right now at, running in the park and all that. You can just keep your head in the game and keep having fun.
If she doesn't go to college next year, what would you advise her doing for a year?
Well, that's what, I mean, the thing would be if they said no college full stop for the year, I'd really try to figure out, and especially if then younger, she'll be in second grade next year. If her school was online or canceled too, I'd try to figure out how to get us all to Mexico for the year. Just poach in Cabo. Because why be, I mean, not that Southern California is a bad place to be, but if we have a year opportunity to do something, the problem is Europe won't take us, right? We'll be full on untouchables. There's very few, or try to figure out the places we could go and try to do a substantial amount of time somewhere else just to use the unique opportunity to be somewhere different.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because it's a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
See,
it really
opportunity
is.
Instead of challenges.
Turning my frown
upside down.
I like it.
It's antidepressive.
It is.
Because what are you going to do, right? You can't make anything else happen, but there's all kinds of opportunity comes or different things to do always are in the cracks.
I know, but
you just got to look at the margin difference.
Especially if you look at it in its totality. If you think of it as, I'm never going to get this opportunity again.
Yeah.
30 years from now, I'll look back on this with a lot of clarity and realize that I could have used a year for something. But right now in the moment, it feels like, well, maybe they'll open next month. I don't want to leave for a full year because maybe next month I can get back into the...
I think at some point they're going to have to say something definitive though, because they're going to have to give people
of course
something to plan for. So I think they'll either say at some point, I think University of Arizona will open. I think the football team is there already, which is hopefully a good sign. And then, hopefully they even just have the student athletes for a minute, let the Wuhan, oh man. But yeah, I mean, they're already talking third wave different places, right?
Oh yeah. And I think that's practical, to be honest. I think maybe the way that viruses have worked in the past is, I'm no doctor, but the severity goes down.
Yeah.
As it becomes more adaptable and spreads more easily, the consequence goes down.
I just think more people have I'm no doctor either. So it may come as a shock to you, but I think the more people that have more antibodies, then more people get more antibodies. And then the disease, I think, becomes less effective because more people have more antibodies.
Exactly.
So maybe doctor.
Yeah. So maybe super spreading is the key to the solution.
That's what Sweden was thinking.
Yeah. Look at how that worked out for them.
Is it not worked out well?
No, dude. But they only have 10,000 people, I think, or 10 million people that live in the country. Yeah. So the actual absolute number of deaths is lower than a lot of other countries, but per capita, it's a lot higher. It's a crazy high level of deaths per capita.
They shut Melbourne off from the rest of Australia. You read that for the first time in either 100 years or ever or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. You can no longer go from Melbourne to Sydney.
Crazy. All right. Should we do barrel or not?
Let's do it. Exciting.
Barrel or nah? Colonics.
Nah. Oh, I'm so scared of that. I'm so scared of, between you and I, this is literally probably where anal retentive came from. I'm so scared of anything going up my butt. I'm scared of a doctor finger going up there, of a gallon of water or whatever they do. You've done it.
No, but my appointment's in 4 hours.
Whoa. How scared are you?
I've reconciled it.
Are you okay?
I'm not scared.
Are you okay with the little thing up the butt?
It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I'm into.
But you're not super paranoid about it.
No, I've accepted it. I think it's part of life.
Apparently it makes you feel amazing.
So that is really why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because I just feel I have like a general not a malaise, but like a lower grade of wellness than I've ever had before.
Want to know why? I've been thinking about this.
Tell me.
I've been feeling it too. It's because we haven't got sick in so long. Like usually your body, like you're out, you're fighting infectious diseases. I think your body is like alive and vibrant doing stuff. Now we're all in a low level of just existing.
Yeah.
We're not getting sick. We're not even being exposed to anything to fight because especially in California where, we're away from most people. I mean, unless you're regularly going to bars and all that, which I'm not either. I don't go to crowded restaurants, not because I am scared, but just because I don't anyway. So I'm not going to so your body is just giving up. Your body is like, what am I supposed to do? Your body, it's like Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. for your body.
Right.
Perpetually.
I know.
It's just kind of sleepy.
And all the things that I used to do that would elevate my mood, not working anymore.
Have you tried drinking more?
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, didn't work.
No, didn't work. I just wake up feeling worse.
So a little thing in the butt is that's what you need.
How crazy has life gotten to where I think that's the solution?
Yeah,
wild times.
But I will say, look at you finding fun in the margins.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Well, this wasn't my idea, of course. But when it was presented to me and I thought back...
You could have said no.
I could have said no, but I thought back to all the people who have talked about it in the past and everybody says, dude, you feel amazing.
Well, I'm excited for our next show.
Okay.
I'm excited. If you come in and tell me that it was epic...
You might be into it.
Well, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I've never even begun to have thought about it before.
If this was like a new thing, I would be way apprehensive.
Yeah.
But this has been around for such a long time.
Yeah.
The science is in.
I'm guaranteed Kelly Slater is a big believer.
He's got a personal colonics, or you know who does is Laird.
Oh, yeah.
For sure Laird does.
I mean, Laird's got a personal. Kelly probably
I feel like he has
Laird's
a portable
personal.
one.
Yeah.
Just drives around with that thing.
In the car, just out the window. Just spraying.
How much do I tip?
Oh, do you tip?
I don't know.
Shoot. $20. How much is the thing?
65.
I mean, if it's an outstanding experience, I'd throw a 20.
I feel like 20's cheap for her job. I got to give her $100.
Well, I mean, do you double did you go double plus $40 over the cost?
I don't generally. I'm not that generous of a tipper.
What's the time on this thing?
45 minutes, I think. Yeah, 45 minutes.
So you sit there and you get cleansed for 45 minutes. Do you use a bidet when you're in France?
I've never used a bidet.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
I know. We've talked about this too. And I'm totally into it, but ever since I've kind of been turned on to the bidet, so to speak, I haven't encountered one. I was at a friend's house and he had one, but I was like, how weird would it be to use a friend's bidet?
It would be weird.
Yeah.
In Egypt, I think I talked about this too, the way they put the metal tube in the toilet itself. And so you just shish kebab the bidet part.
What?
Yeah. Egypt. Welcome to Egypt. Yeah. Smart.
Huh.
They just make it the toilet and the bidet one and the same.
Is that sanitary?
Oh, of course not. You're just would be shooting theoretically other people's feces.
Like a rough edged copper.
Yeah. It's like a steel.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Have you ever gotten a rectal exam?
No. Have you?
No, but you're old enough to where it's coming.
I know.
Right?
I know. That's the thing. I should probably do the colonics thing just to open my horizon to having my
pun
bottom.
Intended.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to Google how much to tip on this thing.
Yeah. Too bad the show won't be live by then because we could get reader feedback pretty quick.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm it's going to be an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've accepted it. It is what it is. I want to feel good. That's all. I'm just pinning all my hopes on later today. I'm going to feel amazing. And for the next apparently period of time, next week or whatever.
Lucky man.
I know this may become a routine thing.
Yeah. Great.
We'll see. All right. So I'm going barrel. You're going.
I'm going barrel.
Okay. Cool.
Did I say no at the start?
Yeah.
You talked me into it already.
Okay. Good. I'm glad. That's my objective here.
Yeah.
Whenever we do barrel or not. All right. Barrel or not. Keeping a burner phone.
Oh. Nah, for me.
Okay.
I love the idea conceptually. I have plenty of what could be considered burner phones around the house. I have enough trouble remembering my 4-digit keyword to get into my phone and my phone number to ever be able to remember another passcode and phone number.
So the burner phone's just more work for you.
It'd be twice as much work, and I would forget both the password and the number. And so then I just have another phone, which I have plenty of already, laying around that would not get used to burn. Who are you going to call your burner on?
Great question. TikTok just got outlawed in India, which is their biggest market.
Yep.
And USA is looking at outlawing TikTok as well, the app, because it's Chinese owned and they are absolutely stealing all your data off your phone. If you download that app, you're getting molested. Your data is being molested by China.
On my phone.
So I was thinking, well, the solution around that would just get a burner phone. Like if that's really your concern now is like who's taking my data and who isn't, you would have one phone that had banking and email on it. And then you would have a separate phone that you did Google searching on.
The problem is you're really putting a lot of faith. Let's say your burner phone would be an Apple, right?
Sure.
I guess that would be the thing. It'd have your burner, you got me again. I went from no barrel to barrel on Colonics. I am full barrel on getting a Android burner because you don't want it tied to your Apple Store ID because then everything is there already, right? I mean, more or less. So you get another burner. They get your bank. On TikTok, you get your bank because you have to not buy the app, but you have to have, I would imagine, a credit card down.
You should have one credit card that you use for that sort of stuff anyways.
Great. Okay. I'm so barrel on this.
This is the new world that we're living in. You have to consider these things.
I'm so barreled on this.
So filming this show today, part of the reason why I put it off for years was not only the workload, but the workflow.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if I have to I do own a camera, but I need 3 cameras and they're going to be different types of cameras. So like the file types are different. And then do I have enough storage space on my computer? Blah, 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 blah. The solution was and is iPhones.
Yeah.
The quality's great. And
they have enough storage.
They have enough storage. Totally. So I bought 2 iPhones that were refurbished. They're cheap.
Yeah.
They're pretty cheap. They're actually better than my current iPhone that I'm actually using. So these 2 iPhones that are filming us right now. And then my girlfriend's looking over at me and she's like, why do you have 3 phones?
Yeah.
Like what's up?
Did you feel kind of
she said she said it jokingly, like as if I'm living an alternative life. But she had a good point. And I was thinking, yeah, you're right. These are kind of like burner phones. I'm only using them to film podcasts, but they look like burner phones.
But you can't use one of these because that's the secret though, is to have a Android or if you're an Android user, to have an Apple as your burner. Yeah. You want the different technology as your burn.
But these don't have any of my personal data in them.
Yeah.
Like even though they are Apple products, I'm not logged into Apple through them.
Fantastic.
Just using them as,
You got me. So, again, Colonics barrel and burner phone barrel.
By the way, buy refurbished.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of the price.
I'm going to buy a refurbished Android and start playing around with it.
Yeah. There you go.
Great idea.
All right. Burner phones. No longer just for drug dealers.
No. For
TikTok
people,
users.
for TikTok fans.
There you go. All right. Barrel or not. Admitting when you're wrong.
Barrel. Yeah. Barrel. Always a barrel.
You brought this up earlier in the show, and I didn't want to spoil it, but it is barrel.
It's a full barrel, always. The thing is, though, not being forced to admit you're wrong when you really feel you're not. Like, not to cow into... I think we have 2... Let's look at the spectrum here. We got Donald Trump on one hand, who refuses ever to admit that he's wrong. Right. Like, not once in his life, I don't think, has he ever admitted he was wrong.
No. And it's only worked for him that he doesn't.
Completely. Yeah. I'm going to say that strategy works. If you're going to go hard on never being wrong, people can crow, they can cluck, they can yell, they can get red in the face, but like you win at the end. You just say, nope, I was right. I was right. I was right. I was right. Like,
yeah. So you are right, but you winning means somebody else loses. So,
but
if
no,
you have,
what if we're not in a zero sum game here?
but you mostly are in scenarios in your life where this is going to come up. You're most likely somebody is going to lose when you win.
Okay, I'll posit this, but I don't think that everything is zero sum.
Not everything is.
I think zero sum is actually pretty rare. Or
really?
I think zero sum is transactional.
But okay, so if we're going to use Trump as an example, by virtue of him charging forward and not acknowledging past foibles,
Sure.
small businesses that supplied his whatever get bankrupted. You know, furniture manufacturers that supplied his casino get bankrupted.
But
students who went to his schools that turns out there's no accreditation and they get no money back for their school that they said was going to be accredited, they lose all that money.
But did they have to? That's the thing. Like, they could have pivoted to they could have said, aha, I see your game. I'm going to not try to beat you here, but there's always an end around.
But I'm going to tell the bank, no, I don't owe you money.
Or something. I mean, there's always some kind of, there's some game. I will say that obviously, like, people who never say they're wrong leave or can leave a wake of destruction in their wake.
Well, the reason why this is being brought up is because of the article that you referenced earlier that you wrote. And my thought was, okay, if you surveyed, prior to writing that article, if you surveyed the landscape and you had all the things and you said, this is the angle I'm going to work, then work that angle, and other people disagree with that angle, then there's no apology.
Sure.
There's no that I was wrong. It's like, no, this is my opinion and my angle. But if you didn't factor in information and then people present information and go, hey, you didn't think about this daughter or this woman's son could potentially read this, then you can feel bad about that and capitulate.
So I thought about her son. I knew she had family. That's what I was thinking. I'm glad you brought this up, David Lee Scales. Here's the thing about that in particular, right? Mara was a vociferous, flamboyant, flame-throwing commenter, right? It's not like she was a wilting flower or somebody who wasn't very loud when she came into Beach Crit. And so, there's that, right? Like, she set up this parameter thing. I thought about her son and thought, this is his mom. Like, this is who his mom is. B, so my question in the headline was she murdered in her kitchen for having a fairly flimsy roofie allegation that went super wide. I mean, went pretty wide. It was like in the Daily Mail and stuff, right? So she alleged that she got roofied at a Cuda Beach bar, almost died, et cetera, painted Bali in a horrible light, locals in a horrible light. Then she went on a cat killing spree, I think, with her dog or something, like killed a bunch of local cats and all this kind of stuff. So she was making problems. I question mark murdered. Why does everybody want people to have committed suicide? Like, there's some sort of, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. All they hear or the only police report, which was a really flimsy police report or information from the police that was released, and who knows where or what even the police got that from, was that there was some drug paraphernalia in her room, right? Everybody goes straight to suicide, committed suicide. How is that sensitive or better than some great murder mystery, right?
Well, it's not sensitive or better, but they're not writing headlines about it.
But people think, like, how is her suicide any more plausible than a murder? That's what, in the comments, that was a lot of the thing is, why are you suggesting this? Like, why are you suggesting she was murdered? How does anybody have any evidence she wasn't? Like, there is just as much evidence she was murdered than she committed suicide. Well, the idea of there's back foot suicide stuff is, to me, it's a very bizarre reaction where somehow people feel better if it's a suicide rather than if it's a murder.
Well, there's a difference between leaving a comment on an article in a comment section versus headlining an article with a suggestion for the way of death.
Wasn't suggested. I questioned.
I don't think that's enough.
I made a question. Was she murdered in her kitchen after these? And again, for a very flamboyant personality. This was not...
So that part, I don't think it was... You kept saying the article could have been tone deaf or whatever. I don't think people were upset about the tone of the article as much as they were the headline of the article.
I mean, I stand by the headline double. Like, she was an adventurous woman who I imagine might have gone out adventurously. Like, might have crossed the wrong person.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a far jump to make.
It's not any further jump to make than a 50-year-old suddenly dying of a drug overdose.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
How many people how many people get murdered versus die of a drug overdose or suicide?
How many 50-year-olds though, like, die of accidental drug overdoses? I mean,
Philip Seymour Hoffman right off the top of my head.
Oh, wow. There you go. I mean, sure. A lot more.
I think numbers wise, the people who are listening to this who know somebody who committed suicide or died of a drug overdose are way higher than those who know somebody who got murdered.
Certainly. But also there's enough evidence there on the possible murder side to have it be really plausible. As plausible.
Really plausible?
As plausible as suicide. I'll say. She certainly made enemies by both the roofie allegations and the cat killing stuff.
Yeah, but that was all a long time ago. Their murderers are going to show up a year or two later.
I mean, who knows what else she's up to there?
I don't know. There's no evidence.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
But just to assume, everybody wants to assume suicide, which that's to me.
That's not a problem. That's a totally different conversation.
That to me though is ruder to her legacy than assuming some grand fiery exit. Should
those people who are assuming suicide admit that they're wrong?
No, because they may be right too. That's what I'm saying. It's not a zero-sum game. I can be right and they can be right.
No, you can't. In this situation, only one person's right.
Well, at the end, it'll come out, and
then somebody has to apologize.
Theoretically. But no, because I only questioned. I only made a question. If I would have put an exclamation, then I would have to apologize. To question, is this what went down? I'm not apologizing.
Admitting when you're wrong, barrel or nah?
Admitting when you're wrong is barrel.
Got it.
For me.
Okay. Got it.
When I'm wrong. I apologize to Surfline.
I know, I saw that.
Marcus really blew me up. Marcus blew me up so hard on that thing.
Well, I saw that and I was just surprised Surfline cared.
I mean, they really cared. I had like a series of texts and emails.
Yeah.
But he cared in a funny way. I'll give Marcus.
He's got a good sense of humor.
He does.
So again, we've covered this over and over on the podcast. Surfline's name is in the news. That's all that I saw that as. When you said they didn't let subscribers know that prices were they were price gouging during COVID, right? I just thought, oh, good. Surfline got their name. By the way, Surfline's lost a lot of relevance, in the last, let's say 10 years. And it used to be the portal for surf videos. If you wanted to see surf videos somewhere, they still do, but you don't go there for that anymore.
No.
And they used to be portal for news, and you don't really go there for news, and editorial, and you don't really go there. You go there for cameras, and that's it at this point. So when I saw that article, I just thought, good for them. They made their way into the news. I didn't even care about the gouging part of it. And I also figured it was probably not fully, they probably didn't gouge.
They did.
Right. But they raised prices.
They raised prices, but they did it. I mean, even the defense of it, they sent out an email to let customers know that they were raising prices in July 2018. And then you do get an email before your auto renew happens. But seriously, the we raise prices is so deep in the middle of that thing and so very clearly written to have your eyes glaze over and not pay attention. They did not send out an email a week before that said, FYI, your subscription is going up this much.
Do you pay?
Hell no.
Yeah, nor do I.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a sneaker free account either.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I watch the ad. I watch the 30-second ad.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll open the camera and then do 3 things. And once it starts playing, then I'll watch it.
It's funny. I so rarely, I used to use Surfline every time before I went and surfed. Now I'll maybe only use it to see if it's blown out.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't really use it nearly as much as I used to. If I have time to surf, I surf.
I go surf. Exactly. If I want to go surf, I go surf. I know what the I know there's swell or not.
Yep.
I know tide. So the only thing that I'm curious, and only sometimes, if I feel the wind blowing at my house, I'll go check the Surfline cam to see is it like howling down at the beach, or is it mellow?
Right.
Oops. Surfline should just change its name to Windline.
There's probably those sites too. I mean, there are for sure.
Windfinder is an amazing one. But yeah.
Well, this has been an enlightening show. Thanks to Album.
Fantastic.
Log on, check out, by the way, subscribe on YouTube, search for Surf Splendor, then subscribe on YouTube. We can't monetize it until we have a certain level of subscribers, so we need more subscribers. You can log on and see the album Twinsman sitting behind Chaz. That's going to Asher Pacey. You will see him writing that on the internet probably in the next month or so.
What if I put a big old pressure ding right into it?
Don't do it. Don't do it. We'll lose our home studio.
Can't do that. Wouldn't want to anyway.
Nope. All right, beachgrit.com. At Surf Journalist.
At Surf Journalist.
What
I'm
else?
trying to do better of engaging in my DMs.
Are you?
Trying.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. You got to, I found what's effective is setting aside an hour. Like, here's an hour, a block of time that I'm going to focus on it. And then if I'm having dinner and I see one pop up, I don't worry about it. I'll do that tomorrow at 10 a.m.
In the
or whatever.
hour.
Just batch them.
Nice.
You know?
Like it.
All right, Chaz, until next week.
Get barrel.